So my plan was to actually have this up last night, straight after the show went off the air, but under the circumstances, I actually went to see Fozzy on Friday night. I saw the champion Chris Jericho in Manchester. I then had a full day of work, finished at 5, hour behind. I was very tired. I did not have a chance, so please forgive me for my tiredness. And yes, let's dive into Crown Jewel. Hello and welcome to FTTR, I'm Hugh McQuain, and today we are talking about WWE Crown Jewel 2022. It is now wrapped, it's now in the books. Logan Paul versus Roman Reigns, a match that I never thought I said would happen. Happened. It happened. Logan Paul, Roman Reigns. It's done. It's in the books. So, this is my review. If you like reviews, please hit subscribe. Please like the video. Please comment your thoughts on Crown Jewel. It'll be interesting to hear what people have to say about this show, because I think I'm going to come in with some spicy takes on this one, unfortunately. And yeah, this is my review. I'll run down the card, run down the angles, let you know my thoughts on everything that happened. Shall we just get straight into it with an opening video package that I actually thought was pretty good, with Titus O'Neil hyping up Crown Jewel. Thought that was pretty cool. Well done video package overall. Then we got the first match, which was Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley, and this is the start of my spicy takes, because I didn't actually think this match was all that good. If you replaced Bobby Lashley with Roman Reigns, you would have the exact same match, because it was German suplexes from Brock, spears from Bobby Lashley. The only variation in this match at all was the Hurt Lock. And the Hurt Lock led into a weird, bad finish to this match. So essentially the match started, Bobby jumped Brock before the bell, hit a load of spears, a spear through the barricade, and then Brock, he got in the ring, he hit some German suplexes, he hit some F5s, and then Bobby, got the upper hand. He's waiting for the Hurt Lock, he gets the Hurt Lock in. Brock, I thought Brock was overselling, to be honest. The effects of like the Hurt Lock and the spear and stuff like that, I thought just some of his facials were a bit off, a bit wacky. And then Brock runs up the turnbuckle, he does like the backdrop, puts Bobby on the floor, and it looks like he's trying to roll over into a pinning combination. He doesn't really do that. Bobby's just sort of laying on his back with Brock lying on top of him. And the ref counts 3, and you can definitely see that Bobby's shoulders were not both on the mat for this. Brock wins via fluke, essentially. That's the way this came up, because Bobby dominated a lot of this match. There was a brief portion in the middle after some F5s where Brock got a little bit of an upper hand. But for me, this just looked like Bobby was dominating Brock. And this cheapish win from Brock Lesnar, I get it's meant to put over how good Bobby Lashley is, that he had to resort to such measures. But it didn't work. It didn't work at all. This finish, not in the slightest. I was pretty underwhelmed by this match, to be honest. And yeah, didn't start the show out hot like I thought it would. Then we got a match that I didn't know was happening. Damage Control versus Asuka and Alexa Bliss for the WWE Tag Team titles. WWE Women Tag Team titles. This was good. I enjoyed this for what it was. I liked the spooky Bray Wyatt tease in the opening, the promo segment between Asuka and Alexa Bliss. I thought that was good. The lights dimming down was good. Again, I just felt like, is it a good idea if, there's all these reports of like terror attacks to have all the lights go off mid-match when it's not supposed to happen? Might be a bit scary. Maybe that's just me being paranoid. But yeah, they had this pretty good tag team match. When Asuka and Io Sky were in the ring together, it was magic. I thought Alexa Bliss looked really great in this, and I feel like Dakota Kai, even though there's a Dakota Kai action figure over there, is not getting as much of a shine in Damage Control as Io Sky is. The finish again, wonky, in that it seemed like they lost their place. Io Sky and Asuka supposed to distract Alexa Bliss to an extent, but it wasn't at the right time, and then the ref came over to stop them for ages. Then Nikki Cross runs down, hits her sort of swinging net breaker on the top rope, and Damage Control regain the women's tag team titles after 5 days. Why change them? Why change them? Like, it didn't do much, did it? Like, I think that was just a very weird booking decision, and leading into War Games. So we'll speak about War Games now. There was a promo, an advert for it. It's going to be 5-on-5. I don't know how that's going to work. I can see it working in the men's side because you've got the Bloodline, you've got Roman, you've got Solo, you've got Sami, and you've got the Usos. That's 5. The women's side, you're going to got to assume Damage Control are going to be in there. So it's going to be Damage Control, Bayley, and no, what am I talking about? It's going to be Bayley, Io Sky, and Dakota Kai teaming with, one assumes, Nikki Cross, and then one other person. Who's that going to be? Who is that going to be? The other side of the women's match, I think, is harder to predict. Got to assume it's going to be Bianca, Asuka, Alexa, probably Candice, and then I wouldn't be surprised if we see a Mia Yim pop into that side. So yeah, I'm excited to see where that goes. Pretty excited. And the next match we got was Drew McIntyre versus Karrion Kross. Now, this is probably my spikiest take of the entire evening. I thought this match was ass. I thought this was legitimately bad. Not necessarily from an in-ring work rate side. I thought they worked well. The Claymore from Drew was sick. Absolutely sick. The big superplex from the top rope looked really good. This just completely falls apart from a psychology side of things and some of the decisions that the characters made. So why would Drew get distracted by Scarlett, who is outside the cage? She didn't do anything. She just jumped up on the cage. Why would he get distracted by that? He wanted a steel cage to keep her out. She is out. Why would he get distracted by that? And then I think it was off that. I can't remember if it was off that or a little bit later. Cross hits the cross hammer, which is the move that he won at Extreme Rules with. He won with the cross hammer. But he doesn't go to pin Drew. It's pinfall or submission or escape the cage. He literally said it in the intro. You've hit that move. Why would you not go for the pin? It just infuriated me. Absolutely infuriated me. And then the finish. Drew got maced again. Is he really that stupid that he'd fall for that again? And like, the race for them to get out wasn't the blow off that this needed. I'd fantasy booked, okay, an ending for this match of somehow Drew Claymore's Karrion Kross through the side of the cage. I don't know how that would work. Kross is like on the outside. Maybe he Claymores, the side falls through, Drew rolls out, Drew wins, or Kross rolls out and Drew's pissed off about that. I thought that was the way it should have ended. Not a race, essentially, and then Kross standing on the ramp, whining. I thought this made both guys look really, really bad. Really bad. This wasn't what Karrion Kross needed. It wasn't what Drew needed either. This match for me was really bad. This one really hurt me deeply because I thought it was going to be a very intense cage match, but it was not. It was not in the slightest. Then we got the OC taking on the Judgment Day in a 6-man tag team match. This was fun. This was a very fun 6-man tag. I really enjoyed a lot of the action in here. I like the build to the hot tag for both AJ and Finn. I like that they referenced New Japan on commentary. Mike and Cole dropping in Bullet Club and dropping in Never Openweight Championship, which again seems all up in the air for what's happening with Carl Anderson. But I thought there was just some really good action here, some really cool spots. Rhea Ripley playing the heel on the outside is just great. Having the hair of Beth Phoenix that they put over on commentary, I thought was just tremendous stuff. And there was some just cool spots in here. And Judgment Day picked up the win. I was not expecting that. I thought you'd give the OC the big win here because I don't think they've won. Have they won? They haven't had, as far as I'm aware, they haven't won a big 6-man since they've come back. So I think it's very odd in that regard, but maybe they'll be the ones in War Games, potentially. Who knows? But yeah, I enjoyed this match a lot. And Judgment Day, it seems like they're very behind Judgment Day. Very behind Judgment Day is Triple H. And if he wants to continue with this, maybe recruit some more members, maybe have some dissension, I think it'd be fun. And it's just a shame that the Good Brothers lost this big match. But you can't please everyone. Can't have everyone win. This was one of the stronger matches on the show for me. Then we got Omos versus Braun Strowman in a match that was... I've just written, when I was taking notes for this. This was boring. It was slow. Omos cannot sell at all. He's really bad at selling. And this didn't make Braun Strowman look particularly good because he, again, sort of got a fluke win after being battered for God knows how long. It went way longer than it should have done. The test of strength stuff. This felt so Vince McMahon and not Triple H. I feel like he brought Braun Strowman back. He was like, okay, let's get the Omos Braun match out of the way. It'll get a good pop in Saudi Arabia. And hopefully it's done with. Braun can move on. Probably to War Games. I'd like to see Braun in like a War Games step. And Omos can just disappear. Because I have zero interest in seeing an Omos match ever again. Because they are all ass. Absolute ass. So yeah, this another low light of the show for me. Then we got a really, really good tag match between the Brawling Brutes and the Usos for the Undisputed WWE Tag Team Championships. This was really good. It's so nice seeing Pete Dunne wrestle. I just wish they'd ditch Butch. Triple H. Ditch Butch. But this was just really good. I think Ridge Holland looked really good in this as well. And the Usos just had some really cool, just cool offense. And they were sort of like, they were playing chicken shit heels, but also the heels that you can, know they can go. They were getting Usi chants from the crowd. The crowd all night, to be fair, was really, really good. Really enjoyed what they brought to a lot of the matches, chanting "You're not Usi" at the Usos. And they just had some really, really sick moves, really sick near falls. I really enjoyed Pete Dunne in this match. Really enjoyed Pete Dunne. He did great babyface selling, building to the hot tag that Ridge Holland made. And then when it got to the end, when everyone was basically just hitting their moves, I think it was like a headbutt from Ridge, super kick from Jimmy, Enziguri from Pete Dunne, and then another super kick from Jay. It just all worked so seamlessly, and I really, really liked the way both these teams work together. I'd like to see these guys maybe with a stip. I think these two teams having a longer form match, maybe like a 2 out of 3 falls or an Iron Man match, maybe a 30-minute Iron Man match between these two teams, I think could be really, really good. And I wish we'd see more stipulations like that in the tag team scene of WWE. So yeah, this was a really good match and built to, after a few duds, the last 3 matches really delivered. And the next match was Bianca Belair taking on Bayley in a last woman standing match. Now, last man standing matches are difficult to pull off. They can be quite boring. This was not as tedious as most last man standing matches are. Mainly because actually, thinking back, I can't actually remember too many times when the ref was just stood there counting, apart from like the final sequence where you had the big moves like the golf cart, you had the chuck off the go-kart, which again looked nasty. You had I really liked the spot with the steps where Bayley had trapped Bianca behind the steel steps and was just leathering her with kendo stick shots. I thought that looked nasty, and I thought it would make Bayley look really, really vicious. But then, yeah, the golf cart. Let's talk about the golf cart, because Bayley wheels out this golf cart, gets a huge pop, drives it pretty fast towards Bianca. It looks like it's going to be, Sammy Guevara-esque, but no, she just stops by Bianca, and then they sort of brawl on top of the golf cart, and Bianca drives Bayley down. I thought Bayley was going to go flying off the front. I thought that was the point of this, but she drives all the way down the ramp with Bayley holding onto the top like a T1000, and then stops by this table, and then they do this big, it's like a throw, some sort of hip toss that's meant to send Bayley through the table. The table doesn't break. It looks nasty, absolutely nasty. But I thought maybe it's probably very hard to do, but just if I don't think it's physically possible. I'm thinking right now, like Richard Hammond, Brainiac science abuse of how this would not get Bayley killed. But if you stopped and Bayley came tumbling off through the table, I just think that would have been a stronger image. Again, probably very dangerous, which is why they didn't want to do that. But if you bring in a golf buggy, particularly with what's happened in AEW, there's some expectations for moving vehicles in wrestling right now. You know, the tractor, for instance, at SummerSlam. So, yeah, maybe I just had my hopes a little bit too high for what was occurring there. But, yeah, then the finish came. Bianca hit one of the nastiest looking KODs I've ever seen onto a chair. It looked like it broke Bayley's leg. And then trapped her in a ladder, slotted her into the corner so Bayley couldn't reach the count of 10. I wasn't much for this finish because it did look like Bayley could easily just get out, because it wasn't like she was unconscious from the KOD. She was actively struggling to get out. It looked a bit weak. Maybe like, I don't know, cable tie it or something like that would have been better. Maybe one of those bungee cords just around the ladder, around the ring post or something. Could have made it look a little bit more effective. But it protects Bayley. She doesn't look terrible coming out of this, but she has lost a lot of Raw Women's Championship matches, and I think that's the issue. I prefer Bianca to be champion, so I'm actually happy with that, but it doesn't make Bayley look great. But this was a really fun last woman standing match. Really enjoyed it, and it led nicely into the main event. So the main event, Roman Reigns versus Logan Paul for the Undisputed WWE Heavyweight Championship. Undisputed WWE Universal Championship. Yeah. Let's go with that. This was fantastic. This is, as much as you can't love Logan Paul, it's so hard to love Logan Paul's personality. He comes across as very obnoxious and very unlikable. However, in the ring, he is incredible. For someone who has had 3 matches and he's now main eventing a pay-per-view, he was tremendous. His selling's great. His execution of the moves were great. When he did the Shawn Michaels flying forearm into the kip up, great stuff, great paying homage. I think Roman and his acting was great in this. I think the way he was selling the just the shock of that, okay, this guy can actually go. He was great throughout this match. Absolutely loved it. And some of the moves, it just kept escalating into more insane moves. He hit an insane buckshot lariat, whether that's a shout out to CM Punk, maybe, oh God, I just, because CM Punk couldn't hit the buckshot lariat, could he? For some reason now I'm just thinking we're going to get CM Punk versus Logan Paul in a boxing match, which I'd kind of be down for. But yeah, that thought just crossed my mind. I don't want to see that, but I kind of do. Yeah, and now I've lost my train of thought. So, the ending sequence. A huge frog splash through the table from Logan Paul while live streaming or taking a selfie or something like that through the table to Roman Reigns. Fantastic. And then it got into bloodline shenanigans. So the Usos come down and they are confronted by Jake Paul. Now, I'm going to be honest, I don't know much about Jake Paul at all. He had a fight with Anderson Silva very recently, is what I know of Jake Paul. I know more about Logan Paul than I do Jake Paul. So, okay, Jake Paul, apparently he's hard. I'll lean into it. He fought off the Usos, and then Solo Sikoa came down. He confronted Jake Paul, and then Logan Paul hit a huge tope over the top, taking out the Usos. Went back into the ring, Superman punch, spear from Roman, 1, 2, 3. Great match this. Great match. Really enjoyed it. My only minor gripes with it, I kind of wish this would have been like the Brock Lesnar Daniel Bryan match from Survivor Series. So maybe where Roman's taking all of the match and then you can really play into that one lucky shot that they did play into for a bit, but before that Logan Paul had a lot of offense in. I think if Roman had just mauled him completely at the beginning and then through cockiness or overconfidence, just Logan Paul just swings, clocks Roman, then gets in all these flurry of offense, the buckshot, the gut wrench suplexes and stuff like that. I think that would have been a bit of a better story, but I'm not complaining about this match because the man has had 3 matches and this was fantastic. I really love this main event. Overall, Crown Jewel was okay. I didn't hate it, but looking at the card, I had a lot higher expectations for this, and maybe that's my fault for going in with my expectations too high, but the Brock Lesnar match didn't deliver for me. The cage match didn't deliver for me. Omos and Braun Strowman didn't need to be on the card. So, yeah, there was just a lot of stuff that really bothered me on this, but the highs mixed with the lows make this a middling pay-per-view. I think it's probably my least favourite of Triple H's regime currently. But overall, I'd give this a solid 2.5 out of 5. I really didn't enjoy it that much, apart from sort of the last act of the show. So Roman Reigns and Logan Paul, go out of your way to check out, because that is a fantastic match. That's my thoughts. That's my thoughts on Crown Jewel. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, and I'll try and apply to every single one of you. Thank you all ever so much for your support, and have a nice day.